Hey everybody, it's Abby. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Today I'm going to be doing a probably in-depth, we'll see how it goes as I'm going along, but an in-depth tutorial about a pumpkin spice inspired eye makeup look. I'm sure this has been done 800 million times, but I just did this like on accident one day and I was like, oh, this will be good for pumpkin spice, holidays, all that stuff. And it is, fall is in full swing here in the eastern Midwest. It's gone down from like 70, 80 to 40 today, so it's pretty cold. I woke up shivering and with icicles dripping off my nose. So, the heater's not on. I'm fine. I'm not gonna die of hypothermia. But, maybe this candle will help. I'm not responsible enough to have a candle on for very long because I'll light it and then a few minutes later I'll be like, wow, why does it smell really good in here? Oh. So I just posted a picture on Instagram of my, all the products I'm going to be using today. So if you're interested, I'll link my Instagram below. It's just at Azkaland, the same way it's spelled here. And, yeah, there'll probably be a couple days on by the time you see this. So I'm not sure when this is going to go up. But I'm filming a couple more videos today, so I'm kind of incorporating this look into another Halloween look that I'm going to be posting in a few days. So yeah, stay tuned for that if you're interested. It's not, you don't have to use this one to do the Halloween one, but that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to combine them. So I'll explain more in that video. Getting started, I'm using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Matte Face Primer. Use any primer that you want, any foundation, whatever, it doesn't matter. This is what I'm using. And I like showing you guys good quality vegan and cruelty free products. And most of these, I think all except for all except for 3 products I'm using are drugstore. I mostly focus the primer around like across my nose and my forehead and my chin because that's where I get oily. I don't really get oily like on this side of my jaw or really high up on my forehead, just like kind of in the middle. I didn't wet my sponge. Be right back. Okay, now I'm back and I'm gonna go on with the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation. I hope I'm not like about to drip this on my pants because I can't see what I am doing. I'm going to add a little bit more of that because I want a more full coverage today. I mean, normally if I was just wearing it, to go to work or whatever, I'd just leave it like this. But I want a little more. And now I'm taking the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Concealer and I'm going to put that under my eyes. Not much comes off on the doe foot on this one. But you don't really need that much because it's pretty creamy. It looks kind of weird like this. This is the lightest shade. So if you're lighter or as light as me, it's probably not going to work. But I can't complain because they also don't have very many dark shades of this. But they do have quite a few of their foundation. And I'm going to set that with this Milani Prep Set and Glow powder. I'm surprised I haven't hit pan on this yet because I've set my face with it quite a few times and it's really good. I just never thought to set my under eyes with it, so I'm trying something new. And I'm setting the rest of my face with this trusty old Physicians Formula Mineral Wear and Talc Free face powder. I've never taken the brush thing out of the back of it. Now today I am going to bronze and contour, so I'm going to go first with the Wet n Wild Color Icon Bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil. It's a pretty standard one. I'm also surprised I haven't hit pan on this because there's a big dip in the corner. There's a lot more product in this than I thought. And I always put a little bronzer on my nose, just because it's like if I put this bronzer on the outside of my face, then my nose just kind of stands out. So, here. So, and I put a little bit of blush on too, but I don't know if you can ever see it or not, because I can never really tell, but I'm using this palette that I've been holding up. It's the e.l.f. Contour palette, and I completely used up this shade that I used to use for bronzer, so I'm going to go into this one that I use for contour. I don't want to do too much. Like my last Halloween video, I did it really stark, but I also did it with a more like grayish contour shade. This one's still just a tad warm. I'm gonna take this brush. This is my trick that I use, so I don't have to use a second brush, but I pinch it like this to get it to to get it to go flat like that, and then I just dip it a tiny bit into the powder and then go on the side of my nose. Then you can let go of it and kind of just barely blend it out, like it's barely touching your skin, just so you don't get all the other powder that was on the brush already on to the side of your nose. For blush, I'm taking the Milani blush in Luminoso. I've had this forever. I kind of tried to pan it. I've got a little bit of it showing on the side, but it's going to take a long time. And I'm using this Wet n Wild angled brush. I've been liking this lately for blush just because it's a little bit easier and it's softer, so it diffuses it. I was using a, a duo fiber brush, and it just was getting it everywhere. But this one's like the perfect size to just go like that. And the qualm that I had with the Wet n Wild eye brushes was that they don't hold a lot of product. You kind of want eye brushes to hold on to product because you don't have to go back and forth into it, and it creates less fallout if the brush is holding on to the product, because if it doesn't, then it kind of just gets all over the place. But I like it in this case that it doesn't hold on to it because you don't get too much. Even though here I am probably applying too much because I'm sitting here talking and I keep going over it. Probably in hindsight I would have used a different blush. I have one from Wet n Wild that's a little bit deeper and kind of mimic the look of like being outside in the cold. So maybe I should have used that. I don't know. Okay, now hold on to your hats. This is the, should I say, am I allowed to say hold on to your wigs? Because I don't know. Let me know if I'm supposed to say that, because I'm cisgendered heterosexual, so I don't know if I'm supposed to say that. But this highlighter from Ofra, it's called Pillow Talk. Oh my gosh. I don't know why I waited so long to get an Ofra highlighter, but it's finally happening. I thought I wasn't into that much like blinding highlighter, but this, just wait for it. So I'm taking this Sonia Kashuk brush. This is an old brush. They've since like redone their brushes, but it's just a really wispy, and there's product in it. I should wipe that off. It's a really wispy blending eyeshadow brush, but I use it for highlighter. So I'm going to just like one time into the product. Okay, now watch this. Aside from my brows looking super weird, ignore that. But look at, like, can you, is it showing up? One time, like, just, I can't. Because the first time I did it, I was like, that was not, oh good, I had to go over it with powder because it was a little too much. I'm going to go in with setting spray as usual at this step. I'm using the Milani Make It Last setting spray. Okay, now so I'm like, the last video I had a candle and I was really paranoid about this, so I'm going to spray it this way, away from that candle, because it has alcohol in it, which I really hate that setting sprays have alcohol, but then they wouldn't evaporate if they didn't, so I don't know how they would do that without alcohol, but I'm spraying it this direction. So far so good, no whoosh. I'm going to do my brows with the Anastasia Dip Brow. And then a trick for doing your brows if you have glasses is to do them and then put your glasses on and then check and make sure that they're even. It's a little bit easier to see it that way. Almost, not quite. I've had this little pot of dip brow for a long time and it's just now starting to almost dry out. Kind of bummed because it's pretty expensive. So I like this brow, but this one I had to make it even and I don't... But in the Halloween one, this one's going away, so... It's a Halloween miracle. I caught my camera right as soon as it stopped recording. So I was able to fix it and not have to refilm because I didn't know where it stopped. So... now I'm going to take the Wet n Wild eyeshadow primer. I'm going to shake it first because sometimes it can get a little liquidy if I don't use it for a day or two. Okay, first for the eyeshadow, I'm going to take the e.l.f. Opposites Attract palette. I've done a couple videos about this. And a couple videos with this. One video about it, a couple with it. So I'm going to take this shade Saucy. It's this one right here. And I'm going to put that in my transition-y area. And then now I'm going to go into my single shadow Z palette and I'm going to take this shade called Bratty from ColourPop. It's a bright orange. I'm taking a slightly more dense blending brush and I'm going to put that kind of in the middle, but up toward the crease still. And this shade is a little on the chalky side, but it still works. I'm just going to pat it a little bit over that now in the middle of where I blended it at first, and just to make it a little brighter. And I'm going to go back to the Opposites Attract palette and go into the shade called Warm. Just on there. And I'm taking that same brush, and I'm going to put that on the outer part. I just wish I had like a burnt orange shade somewhere in my collection, but I do not. Because that would be a little better for this. Then I'm going to kind of smoke that out a little bit. I am going to add liquid liner in just a moment. And I'm also blending that a little bit up into where I put that first yellow shade, just to kind of mix them together. And then I'm taking, again, that shade, I forgot what the name of it is, Bratty from ColourPop, and this Real Techniques shading brush. I remembered the name of it before I looked at it. And I'm going to put that a little bit in the center of the lower lash line. Hope this works. I've never used this shade down here, and it's a little chalky, so... Okay, that worked. And I'm taking that warm shade from the Opposites Attract palette and putting that down here on the outside of my lower lash line. I already kind of got a little bit on there from earlier, but just kind of connecting those together. And next, I'm taking this flat eyeshadow brush from e.l.f. and the shade called Spicy in the Opposites Attract palette. Yeah, the sun's coming out, I think. Maybe. That, not covering up that bright orange in the middle, but just underneath of it. Kind of where that gap is. Alright, then now I am going to take this shade from ColourPop called High Strung. It's a metallic shimmer, and I'm going to put that toward the inner corner. Oh my gosh, this squirrels and whatever else is in our attic, they are like at it today. I guess because it's so cold, they're trying to like build their nest, because they keep, like, we keep finding like insulation outside and like on the roof and stuff, so I think they're like pulling it out to make their nest with. I'm just making sure to pull that around underneath the inner corner. I kind of can neglect this area right here, but I'm just pulling that shade to meet up with the rest of the eyeshadow. And then we're going to go back to Miss Little Ofra Pillow Talk just a tiny bit, just like barely tap the brush into it, and then I'm going to put that on the, I can use this mirror, on the inner corners to brighten it up, because that one, oh, that last one was kind of dark. This one is very, very bright. Wow. I'm glad I got Pillow Talk from Ofra and not the other one. I forgot what it's called. The, like, the white one. Oh my gosh, that would have been too much. Okay, so what do you think so far? And I kind of wish I had like a darker orange, but I think the light orange and the brownish one kind of blended together to make a pumpkin-y color, I think. And you can put a liner in your lower lash line if you want to. I don't, because no matter what brand, what kind, it irritates my eyes. So I'm just going to do the top line with a liquid liner, and I'm going to use the Ulta Classic Felt Tip Liner. This is really hard. I'm like holding my breath. I think this might be a first that I've done this on camera. Well, aside from that one video that I did, like trying to show you how to do your liquid liner. But I'm going to try to do the other side and we'll see how it turns out, which, good thing I'm taking this side off for the Halloween video, so. Alright, definitely not my worst eyeliner job ever. It's just, it's not straight going this way, but the wing is fine. So I'm happy with that. And I'm using the Physicians Formula Killer Curves mascara that I've been really loving. You recording? I can barely see. My camera needs to have a light on the front that shows it's recording instead of just a little thing on the screen. But when I get, when I get remonetized, I am going to use the AdSense to get a new camera. Not that this one's bad or anything, it could be better, and this one's pretty old. And it would be a lot easier for me to film with one that had a tilt monitor. Which, well, a flip out monitor. So this one has a tilt monitor, but I can't, it only helps you like get it at another angle. It won't like flip around to where you can see it. Alright, there's the lashes, the eyes and the lashes, of course, done. Put my glasses on so I can actually see. This eyeliner kind of dries a little stiff, so I can feel it, but that is okay. Alright, now I'm going to put on some lip balm because the lipstick I'm going to put on is a little bit dry. And my lips are a little crusty, probably because I woke up in the Arctic this morning. And then this is my warmest shade. I'm taking the lipstick from Anastasia in Latte. If you have a matte lipstick like this that goes on really rough or like it's really solid, it helps a lot to apply it over a lip balm. Just a light layer of lip balm too. And it still has the same color and everything. You can leave it here if you want, or you can take a little bit of that eyeshadow and pat it over top of the lipstick just to kind of tie it together. So I'm going to try that. So I'm going to take this shade Spicy from e.l.f. and dip into it. Just since this is a cream, like it's more of a creamy lipstick now that I have it on top of a lip balm, you want to wipe off your finger when you go back into the eyeshadow just to not contaminate it, you know. I don't normally go for like shimmery lip products, but this is a good way to do that without having to buy a shimmery lip product that you're probably not going to use that often. I'm just like barely patting that with my finger. Alright, and here is the finished look. Just ignore my eyebrows. So let me know what you think down below if you're going to try this look, if you have any of these products that just tell me if you like them, or if you have anything similar that you think I should try. And also let me know if you have any suggestions. I have a couple Halloween videos planned, but I might need a couple more here and there. So yeah, that's about it. Let me know what you think and subscribe so you don't miss any future videos, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.